You know, when Maga Mike Johnson first became the House Speaker, I said to myself, they've got their guy. They have found their man, because he's definitely the most radical, most extreme House Speaker of my lifetime. But he's not extreme enough for Marjorie Taylor Greene. Because in Marjorie Taylor Greene's world, you have to agree with her 100% of the time. You have to vote with her 100% of the time. And you cannot in no way, shape, form, or fashion reach out to the other side and compromise at all. That's not allowed in MAGA's world. In MAGA's world, you have to be loyal to their dear leader, Donald Trump. And the minute you're not, it's your job. You're out of a job in their world. And my good buddy D Knight is back to break this down further. D, take it away.
Mike Johnson's speakership is over. He needs to do the right thing to resign and allow us to move forward in a controlled process. Yeah. If he doesn't do so, he will be vacated.
Hey, this is D Knight from the Pardon the Insurrection podcast, coming to you from Nashville, Tennessee, courtesy of my good friend, Mr. Tennessee Brando. Let us get that man his flowers. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. We could absolutely get him to 200,000 subscribers, and he deserves that. So let's make that happen for him. And as you can see there, that is Marjorie Taylor Greene. She is irate at her own Republican Speaker of the House, Mr. Mike Johnson. She is threatening to file a motion to vacate him from his position and have him removed the same way Matt Gaetz did to the previous Republican Speaker, Mr. Kevin McCarthy. It's not going well there. It's trouble in paradise. But how did we get here? Well, Mike Johnson has engaged in such scandalous behavior as funding the government and allowing bills to hit the floor. In this particular instance, specifically a bill to provide funding for the defense of Ukraine against Russia in Russia's invasion of their country.
On this vote, the yeas are 311 and the nays are 112. The bill is passed. Oh, one voting present. I missed it, but thank you. Okay. The House will be in order. The House will be in order. The chair would remind my colleagues to observe proper decorum. Flag waving on the floor is not appropriate. The House will be in order.
The bill passed largely with Democratic support, but Moscow Marge has been lobbying against any support of Ukraine whatsoever, including even the idea of bringing a bill to the floor for a vote. But now that that's been done, she is highly upset with Mr. Mike Johnson. She's had it up to wherever with him, and it's caused a rift in the party now that the bill has been passed. The extreme right is moving toward vacating yet another speaker, and who knows how long it would take to find another. But that is not all that they're upset with.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Florida rise? I said, no. The gentlewoman from Florida.
Yeah, why would anyone want to wave flags in support of one of our allies fighting and dying against one of our fiercest enemies? That's far more egregious than, say, waving a Confederate flag all throughout the Capitol during the middle of an attack on Congress, something not even the Confederacy ever pulled off. But alas, let's hear more from Marjorie Taylor Greene on her grievances with her own Speaker of the House.
But this is the sellout of America today. When we had members of Congress in there waving the Ukrainian flag on the United States House of Representatives floor, while we're doing nothing to secure our border, I think every American in this country should be furious. Who's going to vote for these people? How can you vote for these people? They don't serve our country.
Actually, there was a bipartisan bill to secure the border, but Republicans in the House killed it after Trump ordered them to. And speaking of selling out America and not serving your own country, here's Marjorie Taylor Greene suggesting that if she had organized the January 6th attack on the Capitol, she'd have been successful.
I come to Washington. I swear in on January 3rd. I get accused of giving insurrection tours, which I thought was hilarious because I couldn't even find the bathroom in the Capitol. True story. Then January 6th happens, and next thing you know, I organized the whole thing along with Steve Bannon here. And I want to tell you something, if Steve Bannon and I had organized that, we would have won.
Well, that's totally normal behavior from a sitting member of Congress threatening to successfully execute a coup against the United States. But let us hear about the real quote unquote betrayal from Marjorie Taylor Greene.
But I mean, given what you said, do Republicans deserve to be in the majority?
That's up to the people, because this is the third betrayal by Mike Johnson. He delivered a two-part omnibus, funded the Department of Justice, 91 federal indictments against President Trump, funded the FBI that raided Mar-a-Lago, gave him a brand new FBI building, funded Joe Biden's open border policies that are killing Americans every single day. Then he reauthorized FISA that spied on American citizens, spied on President Trump's campaign, and he voted against the warrant requirement, the same warrant requirement that he was for 6 months ago. And then he did this bullshit in here on the House floor, foreign war package that does nothing for America.
My God, Mike Johnson funded the government and refused to defund the police. What a travesty. Here's Representative Jasmine Crockett totally destroying Marjorie Taylor Greene.
But Marjorie Taylor Greene saying that we need to fund the border, well, she needs to go talk to her master, a.k.a. Donald Trump, who specifically said, do not go through with the border bill. And that's the only reason they don't have anything. So if she has a problem, she needs to go talk to Donald instead of blaming her speaker. And also, she's talking really big talk about how she believes in governance. And so that's why she wants to be responsible, because she cares about the institution. She didn't care about the institution on January 6th. Or even after January 6th, as she continues to support those that were trying to tear us down. So I don't really have much patience for Marjorie Taylor Greene, who has done everything that is the opposite of anything that will keep this country on track. I really hope that her district is paying attention and they decide to pick someone else.
Marjorie Taylor Greene has the motion to vacate ready to go. So what's the holdup? What is stopping them? Why aren't they pulling the trigger? Well, here's Representative Massey laying out their game plan to get rid of Speaker Mike Johnson.
Obviously you're very disappointed about this result. Why are you guys not moving forward on the motion to vacate? You've made your points clear. Wouldn't this be the time to do it?
We want him to resign and to announce his resignation so that we don't go speakerless for a period of time. The honorable way for him to leave right now is to announce his resignation ahead of time and give us time to replace him. We prefer not to go into that loop like we had last fall.
But he's not going to resign. So then What are you going to do?
Right. So he will say what John Boehner said until the very day he said, I resign. He will say, I'm staying here and there's nothing you can do. And John Boehner said that the day before when he had the Pope speak on the floor. Then he came to HC5 the next day and said, I resign.
The good old passive aggressive, I'm not going to dump you, I'm going to make you break up with me trick. Yes, how old are these people? Are they teenagers? What is going on here? This is absolutely ridiculous, but obviously they really are concerned about the idea that if they move to vacate Mike Johnson, given the number of votes that it took to confirm Kevin McCarthy and the number of rounds of voting it took to even land on Mike Johnson in the first place, that it would throw the party into disarray right before a presidential election. So that probably wouldn't be good for the party or their chances of keeping the House, and not to mention the fact that their majority is already super slim as it is, and after a number of recent retirements and representatives announcing that they won't be running for re-election, complete and total chaos might result in them losing the House majority before we even get to an election. So let's hear from Trump on the record about his level of support for Speaker Mike Johnson.
Do you still support Speaker Johnson? Do you still support Speaker Johnson?
Well, that doesn't bode well for Mike Johnson. He's going to have a lot more time to monitor his son's porn intake here pretty soon. But as the Republican candidate for president is in the middle of a criminal trial for legally attempting to interfere with the 2016 election, and Marjorie Taylor Greene is waging a civil war against her own party to the point where even Rupert Murdoch is sick of her shit, she was right about at least one thing.
The people criticizing me are not the American people. The American people agree with me, and I've talked to them, and I've seen it all over. They are outraged, and what they're saying is they don't want to vote for Republicans anymore.
The American people are in agreement. No one wants to vote for Republicans anymore. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you've yet to do that already, give it a thumbs up. That helps the algorithm to get this in front of more eyeballs. And please leave your thoughts in the comments below. And you can also find me on my personal podcast, Pardon the Insurrection, available everywhere podcasts are found, as well as pardontheinsurrection.com.
And I do want to give a special shout out and thanks to D Knight, because while I was out vacationing in California, man, he really stayed home and held down the fort. And all hell was breaking loose here in Tennessee and all across the country. And he broke it down day by day. So big shout out to D Knight. And guys, be sure to go over to his YouTube channel. It is Pardon the Insurrection Podcast. I'll tag it below in the description. Hit that subscribe button and let's get his followers up. Let's give him his flowers. And I really appreciate him for saying that about me, because not very many people around here is ever going to give old Brando his flowers, so I appreciate a fellow Tennessean when he does.